really the exciting time where everything comes together. But it's also crunch time. I would say it's definitely been a challenge just putting something like the set of this size on stage. We really only have a couple days to put everything, all the elements into place at the same time, all the spacing on the set, all the lighting cues, the sound cues, adding in the costumes, adding in the props. But luckily we have a really great team. Everybody's giving 200% to make this happen. So.
I'm Ed Kirchdorfer, General Manager at Mayo Performing Arts Center. We are on stage on the set of Les Mis, and I'm joined by Melanie and Jen, our stage managers on the production. They're going to give us a little tour behind the scenes here of the sets and the props. So, ladies, why don't you tell us a little about this piece, how it works, what it's used for?
So this first piece is the opening scene of the show on the boats. Then we have the 6 oars lining the side, which are not preset right now, but they'll be there, promise, if you come see it. So this piece doubles as the ship, the innkeeper, the barricade, just about every location, but in different orientations. And it takes about 4 to 5 guys to turn it and steer it. And
it's pretty heavy.
There's no room in the wing once it's there. So it's a pretty cool show to coordinate and play with. And it's like a huge puzzle, which is really kind of fun.
So do the stagehands move that? Does the cast move that?
Both. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so out of this, so right now it's as the ship, the main, the first opening and the prologue, and then the cast moves it off. Mm-hmm. But we preset it, and then during each shift there's different kinds of transition. So if the scrim is in, then we can move it. But if the scrim is out and it's like a fast movement, then they move it. And sometimes it's like the beggars, and it goes with the song. So like they're like hardworking, moving in. So it looks really well.
Yeah, and our crew trained like all the actors on it, so that they know exactly how to move it safely and most efficiently and kind of beautifully. So it's pretty cool.
Is it tough to move?
Yes.
It's like a heavy piece.
You could go ahead and try.
I promise it's hard.
I'm going to show off my muscular skill.
Yeah.
Hurry you start helping. You just need one more person on it.
One person cannot move it.
Now, on the floor here, it's all the blocking, right? I'm assuming
and
all
the spike
all the marks. Can you kind of explain what some of these things are?
So every color is a different scene. So there's like multiple colors together, and that's the different scenes. So there's 22 different set moves. So there should be at least like 18 different color spike marks on the floor.
So when that's happening in the show, is there a list of, okay, we're doing blue or green or pink or whatever?
Yeah.
Is that how that works? And you guys just...
Yeah. We have our colors, and then we decide as we're going what color you want to use now, and then we make a list from that, which is over there. It's 9 pages with all the set changes.
And that's everything, essentially the whole show in paper.
In terms of set changes for this show versus other shows that you've done, are there more changes in this show compared to other ones? Is there really a lot of things going on in this show?
The most I've ever worked on.
Well, what's different between this one and other shows that I've worked on is that there's 3 pieces that are constantly moving and changing to make the set. So it's the stairs, this ship, and that balcony that are always rotating in different positions. And where in other shows, it's completely different set pieces. So I feel like it's easier to manage when it's like, okay, we know this piece is going to come on and then it's going to never be seen again. Where these 3 pieces, the entire show, you'll see them.
So you're not only coordinating the move off the stage, but you're coordinating for the next move on. So it's triple anticipation, 180 turns on stage with these pieces that are just as long as the room we have to move them on. So it's a lot of fun.
All right, so this is our cart. It comes on multiple times throughout the show, and one of the scenes is the cart crash. So this wheel actually has a little gear on the side. Jen, if you want to point to it.
Right here, it's a bike brake essentially.
And then it pulls the pin out here, and this wheel just pops off. And then one of the characters will be stuck underneath essentially, and it's very entertaining.
Yeah, and it weighs a lot.
It's made of
1 inch by 1 inch steel, aluminum, so it's a heavy wheel. And so for the show, take away a little bit of the magic, we pop it off and place it, and that is a cart crash. And right here, if you look at the front, upmost corner, there's a wheel as a little trick gag so that we can take it up, lean it off, and take it off without the wheel on. So we can have our little magic moment of the cart crash on stage. As you look through the prop table, there's different scenes, and these are the candles from Turning. And it's actually a really beautiful moment on stage. It's really bare, but it goes to show you how a moment with feeling and a meaning can mean so much more than having like a lot of lights and spectacular shine going on.
And these are more of hand props under here, so they're like a lot smaller little props. So they're like, you know, you'll find the money over here, you'll find some flyers and notes underneath there. The maps are back there.
We have remote control candles for the show.
Yeah.
Now, I noticed some of these, you know, or have certain types of writing on
Yeah,
it.
these are-
Is that done more to just to give the cast a better sense of, you know, like they're in France and whatnot?
Yeah, this is actually a release notice from the time period, and you can read Jean Valjean. And it was done in the way of the show. All the letters read what they should read. And we have actual maps of Paris here of how it would have looked like during the Revolution. And it's just really exactly what it would have been. And we have the Declaration of Independence from the United States because that inspired the Revolution. So it's actually really historically like accurate, and I think that really helps not only the integrity of the show, but it helps the actors really connect with the piece.
You have the costumes are used in this performance.
Ooh, I'm gonna guess that we've got maybe between 300 and 400 costume pieces for Les Mis. It's a big show. We've got a cast of almost 60, and everybody has more than one costume in this show, so lots of different pieces.
So how does that work then? How do people come in and out of costumes? Do you have essentially have a script that you follow, that they follow, they know they can change the costume?
Yeah, we sort of talk through the script of the show. I use the regular show script. And then what I also do is I make a thing called a run sheet. And what that does is track each actor and what scene they're in and what character they're playing, particularly for the ensemble in each scene, so that they can sort of see, okay, well I start in this costume, and then in this scene, somewhere between the first scene and the second scene, I have to change costumes because now I'm this person. So
How much time do they have for the most part to change?
it really depends. Some people actually will be doing quick changes in the wings, so they'll actually, some of them will start the show wearing 2 costumes and take off their first costume, and then they're magically already dressed in their second. And some people have all of Act 1 or all of Act 2.
And these costumes, where did you get them from?
The bulk of the costumes for this show were rented from Maine State Music Theater. They have a whole costume rental area. And then we filled in here and there, because their show's a little smaller than ours, from a place right over in Chester called Scaramouche.
And you have to alter all these?
Not all of them, thankfully. Quite a few of them fit already. There are more safety pins in this show than I've ever used. I actually had to buy more last night. So we did a lot of things. Some of the skirts were kind of long. So we did have to have some of the skirts and dresses and stuff, and some little pieces needed to be added here and there, but not too bad actually.
What's the biggest challenge during the show with all the costumes?
We have it's kind of a spoiler. There's a big scene in the end of the show, and I won't tell you what scene it is, but it involves a lot of ladies in hoop skirts, and that just presents a challenge because all of a sudden actors who are normally human size become very wide. So it kind of becomes a space challenge, so we have to change a bunch of them. I think there are 8 ladies, maybe 9, who end up in hoop skirts at the end. So we have to change all of that, put on a new wig, all sort of in a short period of time, and they all become very large. So.
How does this compare to the previous productions that you put on here?
It's much bigger. It's a much bigger undertaking with sort of the same time frame. So I used to think it was similar in size to Hairspray until we actually had our 2 12-hour tech days, and you really see how the set works, and there's a lot to it, and so it's much bigger and a longer show, and so.
What do you hope the audience gets out of watching this show?
I hope that they just, I want everything to move seamlessly. To me, this story is about movement, and I just want them to really get the story. I think a lot of people say they've seen Les Mis, and it's sort of like they walk out like, wait, what was that about? So I really, we focused a lot on forgetting all of the difficult big elements, but really focusing on the story, and hopefully everything else happens seamlessly to just support, the heart of the piece.